Hey guys, I got another video for you today, and this is actually a video request from one of my subscribers. Goes by the name Joe Oakley 24, and basically he wanted to see a comparison video between the Juliets and X Metal, the Flak Jackets, and the Half Jackets. Now I really like making these videos just because the majority of the time people are using these videos to make informed decisions before actually going out and purchasing sunglasses. In certain instances, ranging from about $140 for a pair of half jackets to about $400 for a pair of polarized Juliets, and then anywhere in the middle between those ranges. So if you're going to be putting down $400 for a pair of glasses, I'm pretty sure you're going to want to know exactly what you're getting into. So that's why I really like making these videos. So like I said, if anybody ever has any requests, barring I have the time to do it, which the majority of the time I do, feel free to let me know. Obviously kind of look around through my videos. Maybe I've done a review on what you want to see already. But if I haven't, I'll be more than glad to do it. And I believe he said that he's actually looking at maybe purchasing one of these three styles. So, he just wanted to see the differences. Sometimes a lot of people don't have an Oakley store near them, or maybe a store that carries a lot of the different styles of Oakley near them. So seeing it here online is the best thing that they can do to actually maybe just looking at it through the Oakley website. Without further ado, the first one in the front here, this is the half jacket. Unfortunately, I didn't have any of the XLJ lenses handy, so I'm gonna have to do both the half jacket and the flak jacket with the standard lenses. So basically, this is a black iridium lens and a polished black frame. Now, these would be your typical sports-specific glasses because they have the rubber on the ears and they have it on the nose also. So it's going to help it keep in place. The legs on the half jacket are round. It's comfortable, but you just gotta note that it is a round leg. So depending on your frame of the face and your head and stuff like that, it might dig in there. But for the most part, they are pretty comfortable. Now these are very nice as far as sports, because if you were to get hit in the face or if the glasses were to fall, there's no metal hinges. So as you can see, I just popped that leg right off. So that might happen. So all you got to do is just kind of pop it back in there into place. So the sweat isn't going to damage any metal hinges on here that you're going to have to replace in the future. Those just pop in and out. Same thing with the lenses. The lenses just pop right out. So if you ever scratch them or lose one of them or whatever, you can always just buy them. Or if you just want to change the color, you can do that too, and then just replace them. So that's the half jacket. The flak jacket is very similar. This is actually the Livestrong flak jacket. The main difference is that with the flak jacket, what they did is they made the legs straight right here instead of round. And what that does is it contours more to the shape of the side of your head. It still has the rubber on the ears and on the nose. Same concept with the lenses and the legs that if you were to get hit or whatever, no metal hinges, so they can pop right out. Now again, you have the ability to change out the lenses. Now the key difference between the half jacket and the flak jacket is the lens technology. The flak jacket has that hydrophobic coating on it, which if water gets on it, it slides right off. It's also less prone to fingerprints on the lenses, and it kind of helps a little bit with those minor little scratches. So again, it comes down to fit between these two. I would say, just if you have a chance to try them on, see which one is going to fit better. And I always recommend people to try them on, but don't just try them on for like a second and see how they look. Try them on, maybe walk around the store, have them on for 2-3 minutes, because 1 second they might be comfortable, but weight is a big factor. So it might get heavy after a while. Not particularly with these two frames, because they're lightweight, O-matter, which is what Oakley calls the material that the frames are made out of. But just maybe with some other style. So definitely have them on, keep them on for a couple minutes. Same thing with the lenses. Maybe a black iridium lens is going to be good when you put it on for about a minute, but maybe what's going to happen after 2 or 3 minutes. So the last thing you want to do is have your glasses on and find out later on that it's not the right pair for you. And then the last model that he wanted to see was the X Metal Juliets. X Metal is Oakley's titanium line, and this right here is it's actually a carbon frame, which is the dark frame, and it's got a ruby iridium lens on it. And this is actually the ones that a lot of people say, oh, you know, the ones that Cyclops wore on the X-Men movie. This is what he had on. These are, it's got the rubber pieces as well on the ears and on the nose. But because it is titanium, it's very, very strong. It's very sturdy. Titanium is actually stronger than steel, but lighter than steel. Now, a lot of people say, you know, it is titanium, but it's really, really heavy. Now, it's heavy because of the amount of titanium. It's not a thin titanium frame. It's pretty thick. So, you know, it's, you know, that kind of adds a little bit of weight to it. But if you were to think about comparing the amount of titanium or the thickness of this titanium and translate that into steel, it's going to be a lot heavier. Titanium is also anti-corrosive, so it won't rust. It does have the metal hinges, but it won't rust because of the properties that titanium has. And it's also hypoallergenic, which means certain people are susceptible to maybe rashes from certain metals, not the case from titanium. Now, you cannot remove the lenses as easily as you can on these. You actually have to have a particular screw, and it's actually a Torx screw, and it's a T6 screw, the one that removes the screws from in here. And there's a tiny little rubber washer that goes in between these also. So if you do plan on removing them, you know, keep an eye out for those. Now, what you see is after time, with wearing these, you'll have like some play on the nose here. That's completely normal. There's nothing wrong with it. All Juliets do that from time to time, so that's fine. And then you can also adjust the tension of the legs with the same T6 screwdriver right here on these screws here. This one I wouldn't recommend so much for sports. This is more of a lifestyle pair, you know, something to wear on a daily basis, or, you know, with jeans or shorts or whatnot. And not for sports because of just the weight, you know, and it's something that you actually have to put them on to see what I'm talking about. But it's definitely a great pair of glasses, well worth the $400 that you might pay for a polarized lens. I believe these are retailing about between $350 and $370 now, depending on if you customize it and pick your own color lenses. What's cool about these is that all Oakley glasses are made in the U.S., and all of them, with the exception of their titanium line, are made in the factory in Foothill Ranch, California. The titanium line is actually made in a factory that they have in Nevada, just because they need the climate to be a little bit different. From what I've heard, titanium is a pretty volatile material, and it needs very, very, varied stages of humidity that it has to be inside. So that's why this particular line is made somewhere else. So that's a little bit of a breakdown of those three styles. I hope this answered your questions, Joe Oakley 24. And to any other of you viewers out there that might have some questions, you know, I hope this helped you out too. Like I said, if you guys have any questions, in Oakley, Oakley glasses or Oakley gear, that you might want to see a review on before you make a purchase, just so you can be informed, feel free to shoot it my way, and I'll try and make a video on it. All right, guys, let me know if you have any questions. Thanks.